लास्ट क्लास रे हमें फीडबैक सिस्टम डिस्कस करथिले। There we studied the different types of feedback, how to give feedback, and what is the meaning of feedback. We'll continue this. Then we have one concept, span of control. Today we'll discuss that. And today the last class, it's a conclusion. We'll conclude everything. Formal feedback, informal feedback, the main category of feedback. There are two types of feedback, formal and informal. What is formal, what is informal? From the name you understood, formal feedback means any feedback system, it's scheduled, it's planned. You are giving a feedback to your subordinates who are working under you. So in a week basis, in a month basis, in a period, certain periods. Suppose you have a planned feedback mechanism every month or every quarter. That is formal feedback. Informal feedback is nothing planned, is spontaneous. ତମେ ମାନେ ସୁପରଭାଇଜର ତମେ ଦେଖୁଛ ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକ କାମ କରୁଛି, ତମେ ତାକୁ କାମ ଭିତରେ ତମେ ତାକୁ କହୁଛ ଏଟା ଏମିତି କର ସେମିତି କର, ଏଟା ଏମିତି କଲେ ଭଲ ହବ, ଏମିତି କଲେ ଭଲ ହବ, ଏମିତି କଲେ ଖରାପ ହବ। That is the informal feedback, spontaneous. That is also a feedback. ତମେ ଗୋଟେ ମୁଁ କାମ ଦେଲି, ମୁଁ ତମକୁ ଦେଖୁଛି ତମେ କାମଟା କରୁଛ, କାମ ଭିତରେ ଯାଇକି ତମକୁ ଇନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ସନ ଦେବି, ଏମିତି କର ସେମିତି କର, ମୁଁ ଟିକେ ବତେଇବି। That is also a feedback. That is informal feedback. That is not planned. ମୁଁ ତମକୁ ଦେଖିକି ତମର କାମର ଆବଭାବ ମାନେ ତମର ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ ଦେଖିକି तुमको spontaneously ଯାହା କହିଲି, that is feedback. That is informal feedback. So that is the main difference of formal and informal feedback. Critical feedback is something very crucial, very most of the times critical feedback is negative feedback. Suppose you are not happy with one person performance. So you are giving him the same thing. So it's very difficult to give a critical feedback. You should know how to give. Suppose you are giving a person, you are telling a person that you are not performing well. What is well, what to improve, and how to ଏଇଟା କରିଥିଲେ ସେଇଟା ଭଲ ହେଇଥାନ୍ତା, ଏମିତି କରିଥିଲେ ଏମିତି ଭଲ ହେଇଥାନ୍ତା. You can tell the same thing in a different language, different way. That is critical feedback. ତମେ ଜଣକୁ ନେଗେଟିଭ ଫିଡବ୍ୟାକ୍ ଦଉଛ କିନ୍ତୁ in a positive sense. ଲୋକକୁ କେମିତି ଖରାପ ଲାଗିବନି, but you are giving the exact message. That is critical feedback. Formative feedback, summative feedback, that is the best example is your class test and periodic test. तुम क्लास रे बारंबार जो क्लास टेस्ट होची, तुम क्लास टीचर जो परीक्षा कर गोटे चैप्टर सरला, देयर इज ए टेस्ट फॉर दैट चैप्टर, कंटिन्यूअसली ऑनगोइंग फीडबैक. तुम केमिति करूच केमिति पढ़ुच सेटा जानिया पई क्लास टेस्ट होची. दैट इज ए फॉर्मेटिव फीडबैक. Every time, every weekly you will have class test. That is formative feedback. But summative feedback is a summary of the entire things for a period. तमन षाण्मासिक परीक्षा होची, 6 months, quarterly, monthly. That is summative feedback. Once you give a summary of the entire syllabus, entire course, whatever the person studies, that is summative. So the best example is the class test and yearly test, or any periodic test when you are getting the progress report, when you are getting the summary of the results. And in summative test, there will be some benchmark. You will have pass mark, you will have distinction, you will have first division. So there will be some pass mark. For example, if you score more than 60%, then it is first division. If you score less than 30, then it is fail. So these are the benchmark defined in the summative feedback. So there are different feedback: formal, informal, critical, formative, summative. Before that, we also considered there are different types of feedback. So go through that. Different types of feedback, how you will give the feedback for the subordinate, and in what situation and how that performance is happening for the subordinate. So you have to give feedback based on the work they perform. In different situation, what is the situation? Suppose you have formal feedback and informal feedback, critical feedback. So all these are situations. Formative feedback, summative feedback, negative feedback, positive feedback. All these are situations based on the culture, based on the situation, based on the environment. You will give the feedback, and the question may come like types of feedback, functions, benefits of feedback. All these are different angle you can write in the different scenario. Suppose you will get a question, what are the benefits of feedback? So you can write the benefits of summative feedback and formative feedback. So one is formative feedback when you are giving a continuous feedback to the person. So it is a kind of exercise, ongoing exercise. So when a person is improving continuously, that is formative feedback. So you can remember the types and also the benefits in the same manner. Same points you remember. So formal feedback, informal feedback. You don't need to wait for anything. Whenever you find something good or bad, you give the feedback then and there. That is informal feedback. It is spontaneous. So, timely feedback. Then we'll understand and read another concept, span of control. What is span of control? Most of the times it is known as span of management, span of control and span of management. You see the diagram in the right side. What is span of control? The meaning, if you understand the meaning is how many a person can control, how many people a person can control as subordinates. Suppose ତମେ ଜଣେ boss manager, ତମ ଅଣ୍ଡରରେ ତମେ କେତେ ଜଣଙ୍କୁ ରଖିପାରିବ, କେତେ ଜଣଙ୍କୁ କାମ କରେଇପାରିବ, କେତେ ଜଣଙ୍କୁ ମ୍ୟାନେଜ କରିପାରିବ effectively. You can manage 10 or you can manage 100, but how effectively you are managing, that is the question. So how many you can manage, that is span of control, span of management. Suppose ତମେ ଦେଖୁଛ ତମ କାମ ବହୁତ କମ୍ପ୍ଲେକ୍ସ, ତମକୁ କ୍ଲୋଜଲି ମନିଟର କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ। ତମେ ତେଣୁ ତମ ପାଖରେ 2 ଜଣ ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ ରଖିଛ, ସେ 2 ଜଣ ପୁଣି ତମ ଭଳିଆ ତାଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ଆଉ 2 ଜଣଙ୍କୁ ରଖିଛନ୍ତି। ତମେ 4 ଜଣଙ୍କୁ ସାଙ୍ଗ ହେଇକି ରଖିପାରିବ if it is not complex. So based on the work, so your structure will be defined based on so many factors. So we'll discuss that. What is the meaning and definition? The span of control in management suggests estimating the optimum number of subordinates managed by a single supervisor effectively. It is primary factor that determines the shape of the organization. There are two types of suns, wide and narrow. I was giving one example. So suppose the work is very complex, you are keeping 2 person under you. So those two are having again two each. Again two. You see the diagram in the right hand side in the top. That is the example of narrow span of control. We are studying there are two types of span of control, wide and narrow. Narrow means one person having two, then two having two each. Then those two will having two each. That is wide span of control, narrow span of control. Wide means everyone is under you. So the bottom part. If you see the diagram, there are two diagrams, and the top one is bottom. The top one is narrow, the bottom one is wide. So it's again depends on the nature of work, how capacity of people, organization standard. There are so many factors. Suppose you can manage 4 people, whereas I can manage 2 people. So your capacity and my capacity, there is a difference. So based on that, will define the span of control. ତମେ ସ୍କୁଲରେ ଦେଖିଥିବ, କ୍ଲାସରେ ଦେଖିଥିବ, କ୍ଲାସର ଗୋଟେ ଲିମିଟ ଅଛି। ସପୋଜ ପର କ୍ଲାସ 30 ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ କି 35 ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ, ତାପରେ ଅଧିକ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ହେଲେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ସେକ୍ସନ କ୍ରିଏଟ ହଉଛି। There is a limit. That means one teacher can handle 30 students, not more than that. Why 30? Why not 300? Because it's again capacity. In college, there will be more. So there are a lot of things, a lot of differences. College students are grown up. There is no personal care required in the college student, but in the school, the children are small. So personally, we have to take care of all the students. So the span of control is less in the school than college. In the school, if it is 30, in college it will be 100. It's like that. So you understood there are two types of span of control, wide and narrow span of control. And that determines the nature of work, organization structure, and employees. So most of the times, if employees are good, suppose the people you are having 2 people, what I was showing in the first diagram. So there are 2 people, suppose, and those 2 people are very good. There is no uh, monitoring required for those 2 people. So in that case, you can manage another 1 person or 2 person. If those 2 people are not good, so you have to closely monitor them. You have to instruct them every time. Then you don't have any time for additional people. So it depends on the subordinate. The span of control refers to the number of subordinates that can be managed effectively and efficiently. by supervisor. Or example, a manager with five direct reports has a span of control of five. So I'm just reading the bullets to understand the meaning of span. What is span? Span is the limit, capacity, or the range. The span of control is how many people are working under one supervisor, one manager, one boss. We'll continue that meaning. A principle that is concerned with how many code subordinate can be supervised by an administrator or supervisor. Allen said, Louis Allen's span of control refers to the number of people that is manager can supervise. So these are the definitions. Sir Hamilton said, so 3 to 4 is the ideal size. Uric said 5 to 6 the higher position and 8 to 12 is the lower position. These are the number they have given, that these number of people one can manage easily. Whereas the number has no meaning nowadays. It's all considering the organization, nature of work. There are so many factors. But there are some researchers, scientists, they have given some number. By Hamilton said 3 to 4 members are the ideal size of span of control. Uric said 5 to 6 is the higher position and 8 to 12 is the lower position. So this number they are affecting the performance of the employee and the people who are reporting. So I was telling, if a person is very good, doesn't require the close monitoring, then you can manage more people. If the person is not good, it requires every time close monitoring, then you don't have time to manage more people. So this number is affected by the performance of the supervisor and performance of the subordinates. There are so many factors affecting span of control, span of management. One thing is supervision, nature, organization, complexity, planning, centralization, geographic proximity. Geographic means suppose there is a team working in a different country. You don't know their language, their local language. So what they are saying, you are not understanding, or you are not understanding their culture. So you need more time to for the team. Sometimes you have to travel, or you have to personally meet the team, and you need to understand their culture, their language. So you need more time. So geographical area also impacting the span of control. The nature of work. Suppose in one organization, the nature of work is very critical, very technical, whereas you need close monitoring of entire thing. And in some organizations, maybe the nature of work is very simple. You don't need monitoring. You just need to instruct them their role. Straightforward, they have the instruction, they will work. So in that case, you will have many people under you. Like suppose BPO, whereas in BPO, one manager will have 15, 20, 30% reporting to them. But in technical job, you may have 5, 10, you will end up with explaining those 5, 10 people. And communicating the 5 10 people. So nature of work is playing a important role to define the span of control. Capacity and manage qualification and performance telling performance of manager or performance of workers both are important. So if a person is capable to manage more people, then he or she will have more people under him. If a person is not capable, then there will be less number of people reporting to him. So it's all depends on the capacity, performance, management level, centralization, decentralization. It depends how it depends, centralization, decentralization. Sometimes in centralization, every authority, every institution is in the top. In decentralization, it is categorized, it is decentralized between all members. So the organization is planned and structured in that way how the decisions are happening in different departments. So that is also one factor to define the span. Suppose you want to take all decision, all production decision in product department. So you will isolate, so you will keep all the members who are into production under production manager. So centralization and decentralization is also impacting the span of control. Nature and complexity. Nature and complexity is nature of work. This is what I was telling, nature of work. Complexity of work. Sometimes the work is very simple and not complex. So you can manage more people because you don't need to spend time on the work. Suppose the work is very complex and you have to explain the team member, you have to spend time to the team member. So that in that case, the span of control is very low. Very less member has to report to you. So in that case, so nature of job is controlling the span. Stability, the organization running for a long term generally have a wide span as their goal are clearly defined and the nature of work is known as all. Another thing is stability, the organization durability. If the organization is very old, established and running from since a long time, then most of the things are well defined. The the team structure are well defined and the nature of work and the goals are well defined between the team members. So people are working. So the span of control is defined based on the team. Similarly, communication is also impacting the span. Delegation is also impacting the span. So these are the factors affecting the span of control. So based on the work, nature of people, performance of people, so nature of organization, the span is the organization structure is defined, but the meaning is how many subordinate can work under one supervisor. That is the meaning of span of control. And That how many it dependent on many factors, many reasons that you need to understand. Whether it's 2 or 20, based on the nature of work, geographic region, geographic region, and the performance and the organization stability. There are so many ground defines the span. With this, we have finished our syllabus. Let me go through the syllabus. This is your syllabus on general management, basic concept of management, what we studied, the role and responsibility, goals, management by objective, departmentation, delegation, communication, feedback, span of control. So we studied all these things. These are your overview of your syllabus in paper one. If you have any question, any doubt, let me know. We can consider it in some other time. So let me know what you don't understand in this chapter in the syllabus. So I will send the detailed course, detailed syllabus, a PDF. So in this slide, second slide, you let me know if you don't understand anything. And which point will take another additional time for those points. Thank you.